Observe the donkey. Have you ever really looked at a donkey? He is a very wise animal in a way. He is resistant. He is stubborn. He does not want to move unnecessarily. Why should he move? The sun is warm. The grass is here. The moment is perfect. The donkey is in a state of let go. But the washerman, the owner of the donkey, he has a goal. He has a destination. He wants to go somewhere, and the donkey is not interested in the destination. The donkey is interested in the here and now. So the washerman has to invent a device, a mechanism, a psychological trick. He sits on the donkey and he holds a long stick, and hanging from the tip of that stick, dangling just 6 inches in front of the donkey's nose, is a carrot. A beautiful, red, fresh, juicy carrot. The donkey looks at the carrot. His mind calculates. The donkey has a mind, just like you. He thinks it is so close. It is within reach. Just one step and I will enjoy the carrot. So out of logic, out of greed, the donkey takes a step. But something strange happens. As the donkey moves, the washerman moves. As the washerman moves, the stick moves. And as the stick moves, the carrot moves. The distance between the nose and the carrot remains exactly 6 inches. The donkey is puzzled. He thinks, perhaps I was too slow. I must put in more effort. I must show more drive. So he begins to trot. The carrot trots. He begins to gallop. The carrot gallops. Now the donkey is running like a madman. He is sweating, his heart is pounding, he is panting for breath, he is dying of exhaustion, but he never gets the carrot. He cannot get the carrot because the carrot is not meant to be eaten. The carrot is meant to function as a horizon. This is the situation of the human being. This donkey is not some animal in a fable. This donkey is you. And the carrot has many names. In the business world, you call it success. In the political world, you call it power. In the religious world, you call it paradise or nirvana. But the mechanism is exactly the same. It is something that hangs in the future. It is something that hangs in the tomorrow. And you are running towards it with all your energy, sacrificing your life, sacrificing your love, sacrificing your silence. Just look back at your own life. When did this running begin? It began very early. It began when you were a small, innocent child. You were happy. You were playing with pebbles on the beach. You were collecting seashells. You were thrilled just to see a butterfly. You were an emperor. But then your parents came. Then the teachers came. Then the priests came. They said, throw away these seashells. What are you doing? These are useless. You are wasting time. They said, look at the neighbor's son. He is coming first in the class. He is getting A grades and you are just playing. They created a comparison. They created a carrot. The first carrot was being the top student. So you dropped the seashells, you wiped your tears, and you started running. You memorized stupid history books. You memorized geography. You destroyed your eyes reading late into the night, and you came first. You got the gold medal. For a moment you thought, now I can rest. Now I have the carrot. But the moment you touched the medal, The society changed the carrot. Your father said, "Good, but this is just high school. Now the real race begins. Now you must get into the university. You must become a doctor. You must become an engineer." Do you see the trick? The horizon keeps moving away. You finish university and you think, no. Now the carrot is a job. You get the job. Now the carrot is a promotion. You get the promotion. Now the carrot is a bigger house, a better car, a more beautiful wife. When does it stop? I am asking you. When does the running stop? It stops only in the grave. And even then, I am not sure if it stops, because you have practiced running for 70 years. It has become your nature. Even in the grave, you will be restless. You will be asking the other skeletons, where is the VIP section? How do I get a better coffin? You have forgotten how to stop. You have forgotten how to sit. You have forgotten that life is not a race to be won, but a mystery to be lived. The washerman is riding you. And who is this washerman? It is the collective mind. It is the crowd. The crowd does not want you to be peaceful. Because if you are peaceful, you are no longer productive in their machinery. They need slaves, but they cannot use chains anymore. Chains are too visible. Chains are old-fashioned. If I put chains on your hands, you will rebel. You will fight me. So they have found a subtle chain, a chain made of thoughts, a chain made of ambition. They put the ambition inside you. And now you are your own slave driver. You don't need a boss to whip you. You whip yourself. I must work harder. I must make another million. I must prove myself. Prove yourself to whom and for what? The tragic irony is that the faster you run, the more you miss. Life is happening here. The trees are blooming here. The birds are singing here. But you are looking there. Your eyes are fixed on the future. So you pass the trees, but you don't see them. You pass the birds, but you don't hear them. You pass your own children, but you don't know them. You are a ghost haunting the future while your body drags along in the present. This is the misery of man, and this is what I want to shatter today. You have been brainwashed. From the very beginning, you have been told that ambition is a virtue. Go to the bookstores. Look at the self-help section. Thousands of books telling you how to be more ambitious, how to have more drive, how to have grit, how to hustle. They treat ambition as if it is a great energy, a biological force that pushes humanity forward. I tell you, they are lying. Ambition is not a life force. Ambition is a fever. Ambition is a pathology. Ambition is a disease of the soul. Let us diagnose this disease. What are the symptoms? And what is the root cause? If you look deeply into the psychology of an ambitious man, what do you find? Do you find a man who is overflowing with energy? Do you find a man who is so happy that he wants to share his creation with the world? No. You find a man who is deeply empty. You find a man who is running away from himself. The definition of ambition is the inability to be at peace with oneself. It is a constant state of inner friction. It is a rejection of what is in favor of what should be. The ambitious man is essentially saying to existence, this moment is not good enough, I am not good enough, my life is lacking. It is a deep, subtle condemnation of the Creator. You are telling God, your creation is incomplete, I need to fix it, I need to add a Ferrari to it to make it perfect. Look at the successful people in your society. Look at the corporate executives. Look at the politicians in Washington or New Delhi. Look at their faces. Do you see any grace? Do you see any light in their eyes? Do you see the relaxation of a flower opening in the morning sun? No, you see tension. You see stress. You see anxiety etched into every line of their face. They are on tranquilizers. They are on antidepressants. They cannot sleep without pills. They cannot wake up without coffee. They cannot relax without alcohol. Their stomachs are full of ulcers. Their hearts are ready to explode with blood pressure. Why? If ambition is such a great virtue, why is the result so ugly? Jesus said, "By their fruits ye shall know them." Look at the fruits of ambition. The fruit is misery. The fruit is madness. The fruit is suicide. Ambition creates a split in your consciousness. It divides you into two. One is the real you, the one who is here now, perhaps poor, perhaps ordinary. The other is the ideal you, the one in the future, the billionaire, the famous star, the powerful leader. And there is a constant conflict between the real and the ideal. You hate the real, you want to kill the real to become the ideal. This self-hatred is the fuel of your ambition. You punish yourself every day for not being that. People ask me, Osho, without ambition, where will the drive come from? They confuse ambition with energy. Energy is natural. A child running in the garden has energy, tremendous energy. He is running for no reason. He is not running to get a gold medal. He is running out of sheer joy. That is life energy. Ambition is nervous energy. Ambition is a panic. Ambition is the fear that if I don't run, I will be nobody. It comes from a negative source, not a positive source. It comes from a feeling of lack, not a feeling of abundance. When you act out of overflow, that is creativity. When you act out of emptiness, that is ambition. The ambitious man is a beggar. He is begging for the future to fill his bowl, but the bowl has a hole in it. Have you heard the Greek myth of Sisyphus? The man condemned to roll a huge rock up a mountain. He pushes and pushes, sweating, struggling. He reaches the top, and the moment he reaches the top, the rock rolls back down to the bottom, and he has to start again. This is the life of the ambitious man. You build a company, you reach the top, then the market crashes, or you get bored, or you retire, and the rock rolls down, and you are left empty. Ambition is a postponement of life. Try to understand this mechanism of postponement. The mind is very clever. It says, I am not telling you not to enjoy life, I am just saying not now. Enjoyment is good, but first work. First accumulate the bank balance, first get the position, then we will relax, then we will go to the Bahamas, then we will meditate. This then is the trick, because as you work for 30, 40, 50 years, you change. You become a machine. You lose the capacity to relax. You lose the sensitivity to enjoy the sunset. So when you finally retire, when you finally have the millions and you go to the Bahamas, you are just a dead body lying on the beach. You are looking at the ocean, but you are thinking about the stock market. You cannot switch it off. You have destroyed your inner mechanism of joy. You postponed living until you died. This is the diagnosis. Ambition is not a drive. Ambition is a slow suicide. You have to understand the fundamental mechanism of the mind. The mind functions through a process of becoming, and the soul functions in the state of being. These are two different dimensions. Not only different, they are diametrically opposite. You cannot have both. You have to choose. Look at existence. Look at the whole cosmos around you. Look at the trees, the rivers, the mountains, the stars. Do you see any ambition there? Does the rose bush in your garden try to become a pine tree? Does the small grass try to become a giant lotus? No. The rose is perfectly content being a rose. It is not going anywhere. It is not trying to improve itself. It is not trying to be better next year than it is this year. It simply is. It enjoys the sun. It dances in the rain. It releases its fragrance. If nobody passes by, it does not matter. It does not hold back the fragrance, saying, I will wait for a president to walk by, then I will release my perfume. No. It releases it for the sheer joy of overflowing. Nature lives in the state of being. That is why nature is so silent. That is why nature is so peaceful. There is no tension. A tree is never neurotic. A bird is never psychotic. They don't need psychiatrists. Why? Because they accept themselves totally. There is no gap between what they are and what they want to be. They are one organic unity. But man is the only animal who has gone crazy. Man is the only animal who is not satisfied with what he is. He wants to be something else. He wants to be somewhere else. He wants to be someone else. This constant desire to be something else is what I call becoming. Becoming means you are denying the being. You say, I am this, but this is not enough. I must become that. So you create a goal. And the moment you create a goal, you create time. Please understand this. Time is a creation of ambition. Psychological time, I mean. To go from what you are to what you want to be, you need time, you need tomorrow, you need 10 years. So ambition projects the future. And once the future is projected, the present moment is killed. The present moment becomes just a stepping stone. You don't love the stepping stone, you just step on it to get to the other side. So you are stepping on your life today to get to a life tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. It is always today. So you are caught in a wheel, the wheel of samsara, the wheel of becoming. And do not think that religious people are free from this. In fact, religious people are the most ambitious people in the world. The worldly man wants money, power, prestige. His ambition is gross. The religious man says, I don't want money. Money is dirt. I want God. I want enlightenment. I want nirvana. I want to become a Buddha. I say to you, he is in the same boat. He has just changed the object of his desire. Yesterday he was chasing the dollar. Today he is chasing the divine. But the chase is the same. The tension is the same. The becoming is the same. He is thinking, I am a sinner. I must become a saint. This gap between sinner and saint is the same as the gap between poor and rich. It creates the same anxiety. Am I meditating enough? Am I making progress? Is God happy with me? He is not at peace. He is constantly calculating his spiritual bank balance. I teach you something else entirely. I do not teach you to become a Buddha. I teach you that you are a Buddha. It is not a question of becoming. It is a question of recognition. The diamond is already in your pocket, but you are running so fast that you don't have time to put your hand in your pocket. Stop running. Stand still. Check your pockets. And suddenly you will laugh. You will laugh at the whole absurdity of your life. You were begging for pennies and you were carrying a kingdom within you. There is a Sufi story. A beggar had been sitting on an old wooden box for 30 years, begging. One day a stranger passed by. The beggar said, "Please give me some money. I am hungry." The stranger said, "I have nothing to give you. But tell me, what is that box you are sitting on?" The beggar said, "It is just an old box. I have been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." The stranger asked, "Have you ever looked inside?" The beggar said, "No." "What is the point? It is empty." The stranger insisted, "Look inside." Reluctantly, the beggar pried open the lid, and he was shocked. The box was filled with gold. For 30 years he had been begging, sitting on a gold mine. This is your situation. You are sitting on the box. Your being is the box, but you are looking outside, begging for success, begging for approval, begging for love. I am the stranger telling you, look inside the box. Drop the ambition. The ambition is the begging board. Smash the board. Open the lid of your own consciousness, and you will find that you have arrived. You have always been there. So, if the treasure is inside, why are we running outside? Why is this madness so universal? Why is everyone from New York to Tokyo infected with this virus of ambition? There must be a deep psychological root, and the root is the inferiority complex. You feel small, you feel accidental, you feel that as I am nothing. Deep down there is a black hole of unworthiness. Maybe your parents told you, you are useless. Maybe your teachers told you, you will never amount to anything. Maybe society told you, unless you have a big car, you are a failure. These voices have entered your subconscious. They have created a wound, a deep, painful wound of inferiority. And ambition is nothing but an effort to hide this wound. Ambition is a bandage. You decorate the bandage with gold medals, with degrees, with titles. Look at me, I am the president, I am the CEO. I cannot be inferior. Look at my power. But who are you trying to convince? You are trying to convince yourself, because deep down you know the truth. Deep down the little child is still crying. Deep down you still feel small. And because you feel small, you need a big chair to sit on. You need a big office. You need a big statue of yourself. A man who is truly great, a man who has realized his soul, does not need to prove anything. Does the sun try to prove I am hot? Does the lion try to prove I am the king of the jungle? No, they simply are. Their being is their proof. But a man who feels like a dwarf inside wants to stand on a pedestal so he can look like a giant. Ambition is the pedestal for the psychological dwarf. Look at your politicians. I have always said the politician is the sickest human being on the planet. Why? Because the urge to rule over others comes from a deep feeling of powerlessness within oneself. Only a man who feels impotent inside wants to dominate others outside. He wants to force you to obey him so he can feel, I am strong. He feeds on your submission. If you don't bow down to him, he gets angry, he gets violent. Why? Because if you don't bow down, his illusion is shattered. He is forced to face his own smallness again. He needs the crowd. He cannot exist without the crowd. If the crowd disappears, the leader disappears. But a mystic can sit alone in a cave in the Himalayas. He does not need a crowd. He does not need a vote. He is enough unto himself. His bliss is intrinsic. History is full of these madmen. Look at Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a very short man, very small, and he was tormented by his smallness. He felt inferior to the tall, handsome soldiers. So what did he do? He decided to conquer the world. He decided to turn the whole world into blood and fire. Why? Just to prove that he is the great Napoleon. It was a compensation. Psychologists say that if Napoleon had been 6 inches taller, the history of the world would have been different. There would have been no wars in Europe. But because of those missing 6 inches, millions of people had to die. Look at Adolf Hitler. Who was he? A rejected painter. He wanted to get into art school, but they said, you have no talent. He felt humiliated. He felt rejected. That rejection became a seed of fire. He wanted to destroy the society that rejected him. He wanted to force the whole world to kneel before him. This is not strength. Do not misunderstand ambition for strength. It is weakness masking itself as power. It is a hysterical attempt to cover up the inner hollowness. The hollow drum makes the most noise. The full vessel makes no sound. If you are full inside, full of joy, full of silence, full of love, you become non-ambitious. You don't want to compete. For what? You are already enjoying the supreme luxury of life. You don't want to become the Prime Minister. It looks like a headache. It looks like a punishment. Why would you trade your peace for a headache? Only an empty man trades his life for a title. So remember, whenever you feel the urge to run, to compete, to conquer, stop. Look inside. Don't look at the goal, look at the wound. Ask yourself, what am I trying to hide? What am I trying to run away from? Face the inferiority. Face the emptiness. Because if you face it, if you accept it, a miracle happens. In the acceptance, the wound heals. You realize, I am part of this vast existence. I am not small. I am the ocean in a drop. The moment that realization happens, ambition falls away like dead leaves. And for the first time you start living, you will say to me, but Osho, surely success brings happiness. Look at the rich, look at the kings. They must be happy. I tell you, nothing fails like success. Failure is not as big a failure as success is. Why? Because when you fail, you can still hope. The poor man can still dream. He thinks, if I get the money, if I get the palace, then everything will be all right. His dream is alive. His hope keeps him going. he has a future. But the successful man, the man who has reached the top, he has arrived, the money is there, the palace is there, the fame is there, and suddenly he realizes he is still empty. The outer world is full, but the inner world is still a desert. Now he is hopeless. Now he cannot even dream. He has seen the futility of it all. That is why the rich are more miserable than the poor. The poor suffer from physical hunger, the rich suffer from spiritual starvation. Let me tell you a story. It is one of the most significant stories in human history. It is the meeting of Alexander the Great and Diogenes the mystic. Diogenes was a naked fakir. He possessed nothing. He didn't even have a begging bowl. He lived in a discarded clay tub by the river. But his beauty was incomparable. His eyes were like blue lotuses. He was radiant with an inner light that kings envied. Alexander was on his way to India to conquer the world. He had heard about Diogenes. He was curious. He thought, I must see this man who possesses nothing but is rumored to be happier than me. So Alexander stopped his army. He went to the river bank. It was a winter morning. Diogenes was sunbathing, naked, enjoying the warmth of the sun. Alexander stood before him. His shadow fell over Diogenes. Alexander said, I am Alexander the Great. He expected Diogenes to stand up, to bow down, to be impressed. Diogenes just looked at him and laughed, a belly laugh. He said to his dog, look, another madman has come, and he calls himself the Great, the poor fellow. Alexander was insulted. He said, do you know who I am? I can kill you in a second. Diogenes laughed again. He said, you cannot kill me because I am already dead. I have killed my ego long ago. You can only kill the body, and I don't care about the body. But tell me, Alexander, where are you going with this massive army? Why all this noise? Alexander said, I am going to India to conquer the world. Diogenes asked, and then what? After you conquer the world, what will you do? Alexander puffed out his chest and said, Then I will rest, I will relax, I will enjoy. Diogenes looked at him with deep compassion and said, you are a fool. If you want to rest and relax, why not do it now? Look at me. I have not conquered the world. I have not killed anybody. I have not traveled thousands of miles, and I am resting. I am enjoying the sun. The river is here. The birds are singing. It is beautiful. Why take such a long bloody route just to arrive at the same point where I am already sitting? Come, throw away your sword. Throw away your armor. Join me. Let us sunbathe together. The bank is big enough for two. Alexander was stunned. The logic was irrefutable. He wanted to conquer the world so that he could rest. And here was a man who had conquered nothing and was already resting. Alexander said, you are right. Your logic is perfect, but I cannot do it. I am caught in the wheel. I have to go. I have made promises. I have an image to maintain. He turned to leave. But before he left, he said, Diogenes, I am jealous of you. If God gives me another life, I will ask him, please do not make me Alexander again, make me Diogenes. Diogenes laughed his final laugh. He said, again postponing next life. Who knows about the next life? If you are really intelligent, Be Diogenes now, but you are a coward. You are brave enough to fight armies, but you are not brave enough to face your own emptiness. Alexander went away. He conquered lands. He killed millions. Rivers of blood flowed, but he never reached home. He never rested. He died on the way back in Babylon. He was only 33 years old, and when he was dying on his deathbed, he remembered Diogenes. Tears came to his eyes. He realized that naked beggar was the real emperor, and I, the emperor, am dying like a beggar. He called his generals. He said, I have a last wish. When you carry my coffin to the grave, let my hands hang out of the coffin. The generals were shocked. They said, Sir, this is not the ritual. Hands are always kept inside. Why do you want them hanging out? Alexander said, I want the world to see. I want everyone to see that Alexander the Great, who conquered the world, who possessed mountains of gold and diamonds, is leaving empty-handed. I came with empty hands, and I am going with empty hands. My whole life was a waste. It was a chaotic noise for nothing. This is the failure of ambition. You will run, you will struggle, you will destroy your health, you will destroy your family, and in the end, empty hands. Death will take everything away from you. Death is the great equalizer. It takes the beggar's bowl and it takes the king's crown. So what is the point of the crown? It is just a heavy burden you carried for a few years, which prevented you from sleeping. The only thing that death cannot take away is your being. The only thing death cannot take is your meditation, your silence, your love. These are the true treasures, but the ambitious man has no time for these. He is too busy collecting toys that death will snatch away. Don't be an Alexander, be a Diogenes. Rest now. Enjoy the sun now. Don't wait for the conquest. The conquest is a lie. Now, let us go deeper. What is the fuel that keeps this machine of ambition running? If you look inside the engine of your mind, you will find the fuel. The fuel is comparison. You are not running for yourself. You are running against someone. You are running because you are looking at others. My neighbor has a bigger car. My friend has a more beautiful wife. My colleague got a promotion. This is the poison. You are not living your life. You are living a reaction to other people's lives. You are a secondary citizen in your own existence. If you were alone on the whole earth, imagine it. If you were the only human being on the planet, would you be ambitious? Would you want to become the president? President of whom? Would you want to build a palace with 50 rooms for whom? Who will see it? Would you want to wear Gucci and Armani? No, you would be simple. You would wear what is comfortable. You would live in a small hut that is sufficient. You would enjoy nature. Suddenly, all the stress would disappear. So the stress is not coming from your needs. Your needs are very simple. Animals are happy because their needs are physical. But your needs are psychological. Your need is, I must be better than him. It is an ego trip. Ambition is nothing but a competition of egos. And comparison is the knife that you use to cut your own throat. Comparison implies that you are not unique. Comparison implies that you are just a commodity. You compare a Ford with a Toyota, they are machines. One can be faster than the other. But can you compare a rose with a lotus? Can you compare the moon with the sun? Can you say the moon is a failure because it doesn't shine as bright as the sun? Can you say the rose is inferior because it is not as big as the lotus? No. Existence creates only originals. Existence never repeats itself. There has never been a person like you before, and there will never be a person like you again. You are incomparable. You are a masterpiece. But you are trying to be someone else. You are a rose trying to be a lotus, and that is why you are suffering. Because a rose cannot become a lotus. It is impossible. And in the effort to become a lotus, the rose forgets to bloom as a rose. So there is no lotus and there is no rose. There is just a confused, neurotic, withered flower. This is your state. You see a politician and you want to be like him. You see a billionaire and you want to be like him. You see a movie star and you want to be like him. You are tearing yourself apart. You are pulling yourself in 1,000 directions. Stop looking at others. Their path is not your path. Their destiny is not your destiny. God did not create you to be a photocopy of someone else. If God wanted another Jesus, He would have created another Jesus. But He created you. That means He needs you as you are. He needs your unique song. He needs your unique dance. But you are ashamed of yourself. Ambition comes from shame. You are ashamed of your ordinary self. You want to be extraordinary. I teach you, be ordinary. But be ordinary with total awareness. And in that ordinary acceptance, you become extraordinary. Not by comparison, but by flowering. Comparison is violence. It is violence against nature. When you compare a child with another child, you are hurting him. You say, look at Johnny, he is so smart. Why are you so stupid? You have poisoned the child. Now he will run. Now he will compete. Now he will hate Johnny and he will hate himself. He will spend his whole life trying to prove I am better than Johnny, and he will miss his life. Maybe he was meant to be a musician, but because of the competition, he became a businessman. He has accumulated money, but he has lost his music. He has committed suicide. Drop comparison. It is the hardest thing to do because your whole society is built on it. Your grades in school, your salary in the office, your social status, everything is comparison. But if you want to be free, if you want to be sane, just look at yourself. I am this. This is my potential. This is what I enjoy. If you enjoy making shoes, be a shoemaker. Don't worry that the president is higher than you. Nobody is higher, nobody is lower. The shoemaker is needed as much as the president. If all shoemakers disappear, the president will be in trouble. Existence is a hierarchy of equality. Everyone fits, everyone is needed. The moment you accept this, ambition falls dead. And in that death of ambition, you are born. Now, a great fear will arise in your mind. The mind will say, Osho, if I drop ambition, what will happen? Will I become a vegetable? Will I just lie in bed all day and do nothing? Will the world stop progressing? This is the fear that society has implanted in you. They tell you, without ambition, man is lazy. Without greed, man will not work. I tell you, this is a lie. I am not teaching you laziness. I am teaching you a higher form of action. I am teaching you creativity. You have to understand the distinction. It is very subtle. What is the difference between ambition and creativity? Ambition is obsessed with the result. Creativity is obsessed with the act. The ambitious man paints a picture not because he loves painting. He paints because he wants to sell it in Paris for $1 million. His eye is on the dollar, not on the canvas. Because his eye is on the future, his painting will be dead. It will lack soul. It will be a mechanical production. He is just manufacturing it to get the money. He is suffering while he is painting. He wants to finish it quickly so he can get the reward. For him, the work is a burden. The reward is the relief. But the creative man, he paints because he loves painting. He enjoys the smell of the paint. He enjoys the texture of the canvas. He enjoys the movement of the brush. He is lost in it. He is drunk with it. For him, the painting is not a means to an end. It is the end in itself. Even if nobody buys the painting, even if he has to burn it to keep himself warm in the winter, he will have no regrets. Why? Because he has already been paid. The joy of doing it was the payment. The process was the reward. This is the shift I want you to make, from ambition to creativity, from business to play. In the East, we have a word, lila. It means divine play. God did not create the world as a business. He did not create it to make a profit. He created it out of sheer joy, out of overflowing energy. Look at the stars. What is the purpose? Look at the butterflies. What is the utility? There is no utility. It is just a dance. Your life should be a dance, not a march. Ambition turns your life into a military march. Left, right, towards the goal. Creativity turns your life into a dance. You move, but you are not going anywhere. You are enjoying the movement itself. If humanity drops ambition, we will not stop working. On the contrary, we will work more, but the quality of the work will undergo a transformation. Right now, you work out of stress. You work out of fear. If I don't work, I will starve. If I don't work, I will be a failure. This is slavery. When you drop ambition, you work out of love. You clean the floor not because it is a duty, but because you love the house. You want it to be beautiful. You cook the food not because you have to feed the stomachs, but because you love the people you are feeding. You want to nourish them. When work is touched by love, it becomes worship. It becomes spiritual. An ambitious world creates ugly things. Look at your cities, concrete jungles, ugly, grey, depressing. Why? Because they were built by ambitious architects and greedy developers who only cared about profit per square foot. They didn't care about the people living there. If the world was creative, our cities would be gardens, our houses would be temples. We would not produce things that destroy the earth. We would not produce plastic that chokes the oceans. Why do we produce plastic? Because it is cheap. Because it is profitable. An ambitious mind destroys nature. A creative mind worships nature. So do not be afraid that you will become a vegetable. The roses are not vegetables. The birds are not vegetables. They are very active. But their activity comes from a different source. It comes from the center of being, not the center of becoming. They sing because they have a song. You work because you have a neurosis. Drop the neurosis, find your song and sing it. If you are a shoemaker, be the best shoemaker in the world. Not to be famous, but because your shoes are a work of art. Because when someone wears your shoes, they feel your love. That is enough. That makes you a king. A king is not defined by his crown. A king is defined by his contentment. So, we come to the final conclusion. The diagnosis is clear. Ambition is a disease. The cure is clear. Creativity, play, being. Now the choice is yours. You can continue to run on the treadmill. You can continue to chase the carrot. Society will applaud you. Your parents will be happy, but you will be dead. You will die without ever having lived. Or you can jump off the treadmill. It takes courage. It takes the courage of a lion to say no to the collective madness. They will call you crazy. They call Diogenes crazy. They call Jesus crazy. They call Buddha crazy. To be sane in an insane asylum, you have to appear crazy. Accept the label. Say, yes, I am crazy. I am crazy enough to be happy. You are sane enough to be miserable. I am inviting you to stop begging. You have been a beggar for too long. Give me success, give me fame, give me validation. Smash the begging bowl, look inside. The kingdom of God is not in Washington, it is not in London, it is not in the future. The kingdom of God is within you. It has always been there. You were born as an emperor, but you fell asleep and dreamt you were a beggar. And in your dream, you started running to become an emperor. What a comedy! The emperor is running to become an emperor. All you have to do is wake up. Come back to the here. Come back to the now. This moment is the only reality. The future is a lie. The past is dust. Only this breath is real. Can you enjoy this breath? Can you enjoy this silence? If you can enjoy this silence, you have achieved the ultimate goal of all life. Alexander missed it. Napoleon missed it. Rockefeller missed it. Don't be a fool. Don't miss it. There is a Zen saying, sitting silently doing nothing, the spring comes and the grass grows by itself. This is the ultimate secret. You don't have to pull the grass to make it grow. You don't have to push the river to make it flow. Existence is happening. It is a great happening. You are part of it. Relax into it. Float with it. Don't swim upstream. Let go. When you let go of ambition, you fall into the arms of God. And that fall is the only rising